All right, we are live, and I'm going to wait just a few seconds, make sure everybody's talking to each other. There we go. We're all talking to each other. Welcome to the Rabyd Atheist. I'm your host, Ed Raby, a former pastor turned atheist, now a compassionate anti-theist. Welcome to my channel. Today's Rapid Fire, where I will field any questions in the chats, comments, things like that. Just to kind of, field whatever people want to talk about. Probably the greatest open forum on my channel compared to some of the other times that I live broadcast. So today your questions are welcomed, and that's what's going to define what the show is. And so thank you to everybody. But I want to thank everybody for letting me have last week off. I know I was going to do it anyway, whether you guys let me have it anyway, but ended up having a good time. First half of the week, I spent a lot of time around here cleaning my apartment and going through stuff and thinking about things and meditating on stuff and getting stuff organized a little bit. Not completely finished, but definitely forward. Tuesday, I had a tooth pulled, so that was probably the downer of the week. Ended up dealing with that for the rest of the week, but made it through. Painkillers are wonderful. So, but that's it. And then I spent the rest of the week in Ohio. Ronald's from Ohio, near Dundee. So I was in that area. We did the Hall of Fame thing, did a farm thing where there's a lot of animals, and had some good stuff with the Amish. The Amish are always interesting. So there's that. But before we get too going, let's see who's here. Triple E was here earliest. I don't know if he's still here, but he was. Fred's here, and thanks, Fred. Appreciate you. Let's see. Cranky Elder God is here. It's nice to have the Cranky Elder God in the corner. Katie, even all hail Fangs. Yes, Ronald. Yes, jumping over. I was listening to BS myself, Ronald. The topic there is very interesting to me because they were talking about like the effect of religion overall and how moderate religious followers don't actually help things, that they actually harm things. That's an absolute favorite topic of mine because for instance, a lot of Christians who are moderate think that they're like dummying down the religion, but what they're really doing is providing a smoke screen for other people that follow it. And it's a very interesting topic of mine. So, hey, Paul, good to see you. Anne Marie is here. All right. I'm not sure that Yahweh is a cuddling person. I don't think that it's the event between Mary and God, the actual Big Bang, or was Mary the first to scream out, "Oh God"? I don't know. It depends on how she screamed out, "Oh God." Because if it's non-consensual, I'm not sure the way she screamed, "Oh God," was good. I have like a non-confirmed image of what actually happened to the Annunciation of Mary, but where Mary received the information from God, so it's unconfirmed. But yeah, I don't find it. All right, but yeah, so it's it's actually one of those things. But I don't. That's way after the Big Bang, though. I'm not sure it can be on a timeline. Of course, you have a timeless God; you can make up anything you want about time. So there's that. Oh, I got Alex here. And Martin's here too. Good to see you guys. Yeah, I'm back. I don't know. I spent a lot of time on my vacation with family, and I now understand myself a little bit better when I'm with a group of people for a long period of time. Like I often have to bow out of social, like the last day we were together, the last event they did, I didn't go. Like, I'm like, I can't, I can't do it anymore. But um, it it became a it became an autistic thing where I'm like, yeah, how did I ever believe that I would get to heaven as a Christian? I mean, there when I was a Pentecostal believer, it was very a faith alone thing. Like, you don't get there by your works, very Pauline. Um, when I became an independent, more moderate Christian, I was a little bit more, well, yeah, but your behavior needs to kind of line up with that kind of thing. So um, I, when I was a believer, that was part of the problem was the doctrine of salvation, because it was like sin became more problematic to me, because basically what we're saying is basic human behavior becomes sinful, and I had a real problem with that. And so, like, Jesus really complicates things in the Sermon on the Mount. Like, if you're angry, you're guilty of murder. If you lust after somebody, you're guilty of adultery. It's like just being human and having normal human desires kind of kicks you in the ass if you're a Christian. And so salvation, it's like I got to a point where, well, either God's going to just save me because he likes me, because there's nothing I'm going to do that's going to get into the door. And yet you have all these things about how your character would be changed if you were a Christian. Well, I realized the bullshit of that. And it was the doctrine of salvation is what kept me examining the faith until the point it just didn't make sense. So, but yes. Hey, Rimmer. Yes, I heard the Prince of Darkness passed. It's a sad day in metal. I'm uh between Black Sabbath and Ozzy's solo records and all the stuff. Ozzy had a big influence on my life. When I was a Christian and I would listen to a lot of Christian rock when I was a teenager, I'd also slip away and find friends at school that had like Black Sabbath and Ozzy and listen to his songs, because I wasn't allowed to have them in my house, because back then it was the Satanic Panic, and my parents were kind of convinced at the time that certain heavy metal artists were of the devil, and so they just didn't allow it in my house, and I'd have to go to friends' house to listen to some of the music. So and after I got out of all that, Ozzy has kind of been on a regular on my playlist. So, um, so, so there's that. Hmm. Yeah, I think that's kind of the thing, Ronald. I think when we're Christians, we assume that we're in the club, okay? That we've already made it, that God's already saved us, we're going to heaven, and we just assume it. And it's one of those real problems with people of faith is they assume they're right. And you have to convince them to get off of that. That's my worry with the long-term effect of presuppositional apologetics, because their assumption is that I'm right until you prove me wrong. And that becomes problematic for me, because it creates an attitude in believers that you have to prove them wrong in order for them to deal with it. And so everybody in Christianity and every religion kind of assumes their religion is correct, and everybody else needs to see the light, so to speak. And there's an arrogance to that. So yeah, I'm sad about Yazzie being gone. Yeah, he died this morning, I guess, Tuesday. And it was weird, Cranky, because it's like he just, like, what is it, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, they just did Black Sabbath's final concert. Now, of course, it was kind of sad because he had to sing from a chair. Like, he was that far gone. But man, um, that one hit hard, because I'm like, I just saw the dude, in a concert, doing a concert thing. So, oh, really, Anne Marie? I'd hold on to those. Yeah, they believe heaven is an actual place, so is hell. I mean, they're very literal about the Bible. When I was a Pentecostal, you had to be a biblical literalist. So, like, the Assemblies of God are like their first fundamental truth is like the Bible is the verbally inspired word of God and is profitable for doctrine, reproof, correction, instruction, righteousness, being a standard of everything we think and do. Okay, so Black Oak, Arkansas, maybe. Ozzy in heaven playing bad out of hell. Yeah, well, there's that. Yeah, that's the other problem because if you make the assumption that you're right, you're never going to prove that person wrong because they will absolutely do that. Hello, Earl, the lovely Earl. I honestly, Anne Marie, I probably got saved more times than I can count because they're Arminian, and so salvation is conditional. This is the weird thing that the people who believe in free will put themselves into a position of is you can get off track. And a lot of that is fostered by like the teachings of Jesus, the supposed teachings of Jesus that talk about like parable of the soils, because the parable of the soils, only one group of people is completely reprobate. The other two, um, the things grow and they go away because of tribulations, or they go away because the cares of the world choke it out. And so you're fighting this constant battle to make sure that, well, I got to just persevere and get through this hard time, or I've got to get past the cares of the world. I got to put all that off, and just focus on Christ and things like that. So yeah, you're going to end up, especially in a Pentecostal system where altar calls are a thing and a regular thing. When I was a teenager, I must have been at the altar every couple of weeks, rededicating myself to Jesus, so to speak. So it's like because of the constant guilt trip of this notion of perfection that they have, like there's a level of belief you can get to where you never doubt. And so, not yet. Hold on. I think I forgot to upload that, Earl. Yeah, it's good. Also, all of you should go to I Killed Earl's blog. She got the latest installments of the Mischievous Fangs. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. That's hilarious. Oh, what am I doing? Because we have an answer to the question of how Asho's devil puppy came about. And yeah, hold on just a second, folks, because it's good artwork, as always, from Earl. And I got to give it a name. But hold on. All right, yeah. Here, let me pull this up because it's great. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, but this is the origin story. Here, let me I gotta put the context in here because we have Asho's devil puppy. Okay, so the controversy arose as to how the devil puppy was conceived and born, and this is what happened. So, but yes, so there's definitely a lot of different things involved here as to how the devil puppy was conceived and brought into this world. Oh, but yes. So this is how Asho's devil puppy was born. I love this one. This one's hilarious. There's so much in it. Like you have to really look at this one. There's a whole There's a whole bunch of stuff here. But yes, yes. So, oh, yeah, I think you're right, Fred. The precept is definitely the Mott and Bailey of it. Um, when I was a believer, I kind of see that's one of those questions where you alternate in how your universe is because, and it's kind of how I realized like this piece of artwork is a good illustration of how you can just make up something and create it in human imagination. It's a great piece to demonstrate that. Like you need an answer for a question, and so this kind of question is kind of similar. I would wrestle with something like this: is heaven and hell part of the universe or outside of it? Okay, where God is, and you start conceiving of different things, but like heaven and hell for me when I was a Pentecostal believer were very real places. Okay, they were, but were they part of the universe? I don't know. Faith doesn't encourage you to look that deeply, Paul. It just doesn't. Rabyd just reminds you of Fritz the cat. Yeah, probably. Hey, Michael. Yeah, I had a great vacation. First couple nights, I pretty much spent by myself. It was kind of a staycation, but it was good. I got some stuff done around the apartment, so that I've been meaning to do. So, plus, I got not to go to work. Got not to go to work, so there's that. But yes, you can also there's some new stuff for Fangs as shenanigans. So Black Wabbit Sabbath. you know, this piece of art needs some sort of title, I suppose. I know it's the conception of the devil dog, but it seems appropriate that we like call this the Black Sabbath, given the passing of Ozzy. So song zombie is playing in your head. Uh, South Park Satan. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hilarious. And somebody asked where the puppy came from, like who birthed that into existence. Here you go. Yeah, you got to be born again. What does that mean? Like, I'm going to tell you straight that Jesus doesn't make it any easier. Like he doesn't really answer the question. So often my viewpoints changed often as they change about fangs. Um, that's kind of a good illustration of what I'm talking about because like we come up with stuff on the fly. But I probably the only Christian views I didn't embrace was anything involving Roman Catholicism, and Calvinism always seemed evil to me right out the gate. So anything else I kind of looked at, embraced. When I was a more liberal Christian, I of course had the ability to do even more. So yeah, there's the specific blog post. So all the backstories. There we go. See, more unofficial official canon. There we go. Uh, yeah, that's an interesting point to make too, because you're always comparing yourself to the born again stories of other people. Like, okay, did I have the same experience as this person? They say they're born again. I believe them. So, what experience did they have? Okay, so I don't know. It's I think there's a lot of like back padding, reinforcement, peer pressure, confirmation bias going on in your average church when it comes to what it means to be born again. When you take that, that all comes from Jesus's supposed conversation with Nicodemus, where you have to be born again. And Nicodemus asks that question, can a man enter into his mother and be born again? He's like, he has to be like a spiritual rebirth, which putting it in the realm of spirituality in and of itself makes it vague as hell. Like, what do you mean? Okay, immediately comes to mind. Like this is probably the biggest problem that most Christians have is they don't realize how subjective their faith is based on an experience of being born again. And that experience is basically, anything they experience is interpreted in that light. And so you never get away from it. It's why I've told people personal experience doesn't do anything. Yes, there's your dog. Good to see you, Azo. But yes, we this is the picture that Earl came up with um, to explain the origin story of this lovely little devil dog here, this cute devil puppy who I fell in love with almost as much as Fangs. So, but this is the origin story. I'm not going to go into details. Some things are awkward. No, I don't think that's analogous, to be honest. I think I used to think 1 + 1 + 1 equals 1 sort of 3. Now I think it means 3. So, uh, I mean, groupthink is a thing in any church. Go into any church, Alex, and you will find people that basically think alike because they've rubbed off on each other. Like this is a common thing in human societies. It's not weird or unusual, but you want to know you're saved, so you when you compare the experience of your experience of quote unquote being born again to other people's, like there's several famous Christians of the Protestant era, early Protestant era, that talked about the born again experience. So I I think there's a lot of people that rush to those guys like Wesley, Heart Strangely Warmed. There's several others that talk about how they had these feelings and stuff, and that was their born again experience. But if you're looking for a born again experience and then you experience some emotional thing, you're going to interpret that experience through that lens. So, how many times was I baptized in the Holy Spirit? Once. Um, I think that's probably with Assembly of God Pentecostals. That's one of the things. Like if you once you hit it and speak in tongues, you're it. Okay. Now there may have been others that didn't do that. Like they may have moved on and thought, well, maybe that was a false baptism. I heard that expression several times when I was in Pentecost of a false baptism in the Holy Spirit. So uh, I could see where some people, but I never had that thing. Once I spoke in tongues, I figured I was baptized in the Spirit. So there's, it's a good question to ask people because I have pointed out to some people who relate their born again experiences. Well, I could have that with Allah, and I could have that with Vishnu too. So it is a good question to ask people because if you suddenly make them realize that their experience isn't more valuable than anybody else's, and personal experience is a hard argument to get past with people. Um, so it's a good thing to point out that their experience might be something like somebody else's, but they're interpreted differently. Fang's opinion on the dentist. Well, he helped keep his teeth sharp. So I have mixed feelings about dentists right now because I now have a hole where there used to be a tooth, and so I've been dealing with the pain of that for a few days. So, but at the same time, it needed to be done because I know in the long run things will be better for my mouth. So he needed a dentist too. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. It's a road dentist. There you go. Yeah. Spiritual rebirth. And they haven't. Atheists, I realize it's all bullcrap. Yes, personal experience proves nothing. Like every person who's in a religious, I can get a personal experience story from as to why they follow that religion. So how do you adjudicate between personal experiences? You can't. So it's really hard. Fangs doesn't molest anymore. Everything's consensual. You need to think different things about seeing eye dogs. Just because they're seeing eye dogs doesn't mean they're celibate. So, uh, it. The thing about being in a religion, like you're looking for validation in your religion. You're looking for affirmation of the truth. And where do you go with that? Um, so what ends up happening inside of a church is people share stories of their experiences with God, and that definitely causes people to reinforce their beliefs. Okay, it's when you look at how churches operate psychologically, it's very much groupthink. It's very much confirmation bias, reinforcement, peer pressure. Depending on how heavy the indoctrination is, there's a fear factor involved. So, like, there's religion has a lot of emotional forces that keep it in play, and that's probably going to last for the rest of the things. So, consummate this demonic union. Don't ask me how it was achieved. Earl's not giving up details. Yeah. Well, okay, hold on. Way behind. Save plausible deniability, hold my beer, and life flashed before I instantly came to mind. Mistakes were made, lessons learned. Yes, born again Christians, yes. I got the rubbing off pun, by the way. It's just it's it's an interesting analogy because it's like I've said before, there's a reason why these emotionally experientially based religions also have a lot of sexual infidelity kind of controversies and scandals, because the emotions involved in like an emotionally based religion, and it's all the same area of the brain, so it's an easy shift from you know getting banged by the Holy Spirit to banging your neighbor who is also being banged by the Holy Spirit. So he's not a, yeah, he's not a virgin. uh well, you're not a biblically based Christian then, because according to the Bible, God is the one who casts people into hell. So there you go. You need to read more. I mean, basically, what you've told me is you have a Christianity that you've made up to and dummied down, and you're not really reading the book. So, bullshit. And you have a born again experience. I don't know. You like the art? Yeah, we're. I left it up because it's really really good stuff. So. Yeah, Bren. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I've got these people, Bren, that keep making assertions but don't ever bother to prove them. Like, you're going to assert to me that I shouldn't fear Jesus, and then not read the Book of Revelation where he's on a white charger slaughtering everybody in front of him, and he's part of the gang of three, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, that cast people into hell. You obviously haven't read your book, or you've read an edited version in your brain. If you take God and Jesus and all the rest of them as they are in the Bible in their completeness, they're not a good group of people. Okay, they just aren't. They're horrible characters. So you're not. Well, that's the miracle, Lasso. That's the miracle. Okay, when your dog heads into the realm of fangs, all fun is back on. That's all I'm saying. It's a lady dog. Oh yeah, it has to be a lady dog, I suppose, depending on which form Fangs is in at that time. uh, the thing is, Rimmer, the actual rubbing off on each other actually does happen in churches. So in a lot of different ways. So yeah, it's a lot of cognitive dissonance. Like you you believe, and so you just don't accept anything that comes outside of that belief. So yes. And I think it's the inherent nature of faith and religion. Like people in faith and religion think they've found something that is true. Okay. And so when they talk to you, they're always talking from the standpoint of somebody who's found the truth and you have not. I've had this argument with very moderate Christians before. Like we go, BS was having his live stream. I don't know if he's still on, but he was talking about this very issue about how moderate Christians still, they still authenticate the fundamentalist Christian. They're not dummying down anything really. What a moderate Christian still says is he has something true that, say, the atheist does not have. Okay, so no matter what you do as a moderate Christian, you're still up in your ivory tower a little bit, saying you found the truth and everybody else is false. Okay, it's still, you're still in that mode of I found something you don't have. And I've had this argument with liberal moderate Christians that they're still kind of being a little bit arrogant about what they believe. And it's like until you're willing to say that the whole thing could be false and you just follow it because it's you, then I'm kind of feel that way. But I've lost track of the number of times that Christians have talked down to me. Okay, since leaving the faith. Okay, so no more grandkids. Fortunately, I'm about to hit 9 before the year is out. Oh, that's a girl dog on the screen. There you go. There you go. Fair enough. You hurt each other deeply if you talk religion. Yes. Yes. What did Katie say? All juice and no seeds. Okay. Oh. Hair metal? Yes. Jack is in a trans male. Okay. All right. I don't believe something came from nothing. I really, really wish that propaganda would stop. You don't even really know what I think. You just continue to propagate this bullshit. Okay. I do not know of a single atheist who believes that the universe came from nothing. Okay. I know what Krauss wrote on his title of his book. If you actually read his book, you will realize that nothing is not nothing. And that's the point that he ultimately makes. You guys keep reading the title without reading the book and assume a lot of things about all atheists because of it. And it's very illogical. You want to talk about logic. How is it logical to assume a whole group of people believe something without actually talking to them? You're listening to other people. I do not believe the universe came from nothing. Okay. I'm now very much of the opinion that all matter and energy have always been here. So they keep transforming and changing and moving and whatever, but it's always been here. Okay. So I am so tired of that. Like, it's like, dude, that's not what we believe. Quit propagandizing and quit lying about what atheists believe. Okay. Cause that's a lie. Okay. It's not true. Okay. I do not believe that things came from nothing. And neither do the mass majority of atheists that I've talked to. So drop that nonsense and go get a more realistic view. Kind of, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy theories and religion go hand in hand. It's not unusual. Definitely seen that. So thanks, Cranky. Appreciate you as always. So, hey, Kyle, good to see you. Hey, Evan. Yeah, take your meds. Yeah, I'm sorry. I get so tired of the claim that we believe something came from nothing. It's like it's not true. It's never been true. It's like, would you please come up with something different and quit lying? Okay, quit lying about us. Okay, I'm going to call it what it is. So, mm. I'm glad you're here. It's good to see everybody again. By the way, I missed you all last week, but I spent some time with every grandkid. Got some personal time with Papa, so that's good. And I got a couple conversations. I got one big conversation with my son, who I hardly see, and we spent a good hour talking to each other late one night. So then some game time with all my kids, and so definitely had some fun this last week. But good to be back with all of you. So yeah, you have my permission, Bren, to just ban him if he comes up again. I get so tired of that, Bren. It's like I don't have time to constantly correct a falsity. Okay. I do not believe the universe came from nothing, and neither do most atheists. If there, I say most because there's probably some outlier out there that might have some idea how nothing could turn into something. So, but I, and besides, quit, you're projecting. I mean, you're the one that if you believe Genesis, it's let there be light, and God creates light out of nothing. Okay, so I'm not, I don't have that problem, but something, yeah, nothing is not even a coherent concept. So, I mean, something could have always existed. I still, I'm more along those lines now that something has always existed. So, hopefully normal. Thursday will be deconversion hangout, and Saturday will probably be a reaction to some video or something. I haven't picked out the video yet. That's why I haven't put up the thumbnail and stuff yet. So, but yeah, the thing about it is when I studied theology at seminary, it was one of the major beliefs in theology is ex nihilo creation. They're the ones that believe that God created like light and various things out of nothing. Okay. So the pay attention. You just did it. Congratulations. Missed all. You missed me. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. I hate going away. I enjoy our streams. I enjoy our chats. It really helps me out in a lot of ways, more ways than one. And I did miss them last week, but a lot of things that had to be done from a family point of view, and I had a lot of fun too. So just relax. Uh, it's not a question. I think the last physicist that really explained this kind of indicated that, matter and energy cannot be created or destroyed. They just change from one form to another. And so it's like it's this constant flux. So but I'm not somebody to ask that question to. I'm sure that there's somebody else. I did not win all the games, although I won at Yahtzee, so I got lucky in that respect. Um, if you ask a theist where the God comes from, something from nothing, or quagmire of infinite regression, yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, he did. He wrote several, actually. Every accusation is a confession. That's kind of the way it is. Anti-theists unite. Okay, hey, BS. I was listening to your stuff earlier, and it's a very interesting question that you guys are dealing with is like, do moderate Christians, help with religion or do they make it worse? And I honestly think that they make it worse. I think they smoke screen the actions of fundamentalists, and it's like you still have to support the Christianity that's the basis for it all, for instance, or the Islamic stuff. And so, yes, but yes, I would definitely unite behind that flag. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that I believed heaven and hell existed without pictures or any kind of evidence whatsoever. It's like literally an assertion that these two places exist by the Bible. And even then, that's questionable. Okay. And so, but there's never any proof of their existence offered. It's just an assertion. Okay. All afterlife beliefs are assertions without evidence. So it's like, where's your evidence? But we buy into it. And I think it's an easy buy-in because psychologically we fear death. And so somebody telling us that there's something beyond death is something that we'll set aside logic for because we want to believe it so badly. So I don't know. That's kind of the point of Krauss's book, is like nothing really isn't nothing. Like it's actually something. And the idea of nothing is just not even a rational concept. Started OnlyFans? I don't know. An independent man. I don't miss nobody. Okay. I'm not sure which physicists, and also we don't like go when it comes to science about this. We don't, plus a lot of this is still theoretical, but I just don't, I keep hearing the accusation that atheists believe that we believe something came out of nothing. And that's just, for the vast majority of us, that's simply not true. So, I mean, if you're going to make that claim about atheists, you might want to back it up, but I don't see that. Oh, I should leave every once in a while so you can. Oh, you guys do my heart good. I respect. Rabyd fans. Okay, there we go. I see. That's the thing, and it's another question that BS's stream was bringing up in my brain. Is like, what do you mean by moderate? Like you'll see some Christians that will dial it back when it comes to like slavery in the Bible. They'll dial it back when it comes to like men being an authority over women. They'll dial it back. Some of the various, like the idea that if your children are rebellious, you can kill them. That's probably a little bit overboard. And so basically what they're doing is they're responding to culture and the morality of their culture and trying to get closer to that, but basically denying what the Bible actually says. Okay. And I pointed that out to them, like that they're not as honest Christians as the fundamentalists. Fundamentalists are at least honest. I'll give them that. Oh, do we get a flag? Yeah, it's got to be a pirate themed flag. Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna. Got to have some sort of skull. So, King did speculate the universe may have come from nothing. It's about as far as he went. Yeah, he speculated. And that's the thing about this. It's pure speculation. But honestly, Cranky, that's the point. It's theoretical physics. It's theoretical stuff at the beginning. We can only go so far before our current understanding of stuff kind of breaks down. And so it gets more and more difficult. But, for me, as somebody who spends a lot of time dealing with theists who want to yell at me, the accusation that I believe, or the majority of atheists believe, that we came from nothing, and that's just an illogical position. It's like, okay, if it's an illogical position, the people that believe in creation ex nihilo are also in an illogical position. And all of a sudden that conversation comes to a rapid stop. So it's like, yeah, so, or yeah, another word could be like progressive, like you're mixing progressive ideas and Christianity, which is a very interesting, volatile mixture. So this is your safe space. Okay, fair enough. I mean, I know we try to keep the conversations safe, and I don't like being preached at as a former preacher. So when somebody gets on here and just states things, Jesus loves you over and over again, I kind of like, yeah, block that guy. So I don't need to hear that all the time. Yeah, there's a lot of disappointment there, but I don't know. I The thing about the anti-trans atheists is it's why I created my argument the way I did. Okay, like we can sit here and argue biology and social constructs all day. I think it's irrelevant. What is relevant is that a person has their own bodily sovereignty, and whatever they decide to do with it is their business, and we should be supportive of that decision unless it's self-destructive. So, and I just don't see how transitioning is self-destructive. So, I think some people do, but I don't. So, I back them up. Uh, you know, so there's that. Proud of the weekly Jewish lunch and learn cohort I'm in today. I kept cheering people on the chat because I was like, "You're all doing my job, asking the tough questions." Yes. A lot of Christian believes in a few cherry picked verses, John 3. Yes. I think that's kind of the thing, Ronald. To me, when I talk to progressive or moderate Christians, it's like you have an edited version of the Bible, like you're picking out the good stuff. I think everybody, to an extent, like that's religious, like my experience in Christianity is that a lot of Christians have their parts of their Bible that they consider authoritative, and the rest of it they just either ignore or try not to talk about. And so it's like you're creating your own scriptures in your brain, basically, constantly. So yeah, Michael will. Universe from nothing. Yeah. Huh. Thank you. Yeah, theoretical kind of they do that, but they're once again we're still talking testing. Like they're testing their models. It's like it's not definitive. And that's the thing, I think as an atheist, I find myself much more able to accept that there's shit that I will never know. Okay, I will just never know it. I will die in that, and I will die in ignorance, and I'm okay with dying in ignorance. And I think that's the biggest thing with when I was a theist, I always had to have answers to everything. And it's like I'm now much more content with not knowing, and not in the kind of ignorance that's not helpful, but it's like I know that there are certain things that I will never have complete knowledge on, and I'm okay with that. Brave space is a good way to put it. Christian can't come up with any good argument. Yes, that's probably true. uh, I This is kind of an open forum, so it's like I like today I've talked about let's see, what I believed, and I've talked about what other people have believed, and I've dealt with a theist who keeps claiming that I believe that something came from nothing, which is not true. And hell, we've even talked about Ozzy Osbourne's death. So this is probably of my streams the most open forum. So like I will address anything. Now I may tell you I don't know. I'm very comfortable with telling people I don't know, much more than I was when I was a pastor. So thou shalt consensually nibble upon others as thou wast wanted to be nibbled. Self-destruct gets muddled with euthanasia. Yes, you shall constantly rub. He was the first cafeteria Christian. I don't know whether to agree with you. It's possible. currently known as Evan. She is not opposing assisted suicide. Interesting. She is not against assisted suicide? Really? Um, hmm. I guess I can see it. I mean, the thing about suicide, theologically speaking, death, self-deletion, um, the reason why a lot of theists believe it's wrong, Christian theists believe it's wrong, because it's self-murder and murder. And so you create this doctrine that like you've murdered yourself with no opportunity to repent of the murder. And so therefore you're going straight to hell. Okay. It's an unredeemable sin in that sense. So we've added another unforgivable sin, even though there's only supposed to be one, according to Jesus. But then there's others who can absolutely see, like today we have so much better knowledge of psychology and things like that. Like I'm sorry, I can, like I think I've spoken before about Robin Williams. Like when he first did it, I was very angry at him, like, but the more I looked at what his disease was, I'm like, yeah, I can completely understand. So I absolutely get it. So yeah, well, I talk about something and people try to derail me, but I turn it into another conversation. I try to be respectful and measured most of the time. I do follow Stoic philosophy, so I realize there's a lot of things I can't change in people, including their viewpoints. So I tend to, and as a former theist, I kind of have a lot of patience with that because I just don't, I don't have, I get it. I get why people believe, okay, and why they believe for a long time. So, so it's definitely changed the way. I don't, I too don't like the streams where it starts to be a shouting match. I'm also autistic, so I don't like that for other reasons. Like if it's just a loud room, I'm not interested in participating in that conversation. And you'll see me bumping around on Fridays and Saturdays looking for conversations on the internet from time to time. And I look for chats that seem to be going in a direction where people can actually have a conversation. So, good question. There's a lot of people. Yeah, it's kind of I don't know. I've gotten to the point where, like, I look at certain diseases and, like, is it that person after a certain amount of time anymore? Like, that person's already gone. Their body's just alive. So, I, if God preferred that, then yes, it would be wrong not to torture babies. So that's the problem with authoritative ethics, Phantom, as you well know. Yeah, there's the other part that I used to bring up in theological discussions, Cranky, is if it's all about getting the afterlife and getting heaven and I have this salvation experience, why wouldn't I increase it? It was also an argument I used to make against pro-lifers. Like if all unborn babies immediately go to heaven, then what are we bitching about? So it's like that. Oh, Catholics avoid Luke 20:46. Okay, hold on. I imagine I know what it is. Oh yes. The scribes, Pharisees walk in long robes, be seen in marketplaces. Yes. Um, I had a tendency sometimes to say I don't know. I also had a tendency I'll look into that. I've also done deep dive, like being my autistic self. Somebody would bring up a topic that they wanted an answer for, and then I'd spend the week studying it to bring back an answer the next week. I remember, like, one of my more interesting examples, uh, from those of you that are like free the nipple, was somebody, like, I had a congregational member where his daughter was in college and she was going to go to a topless beach and be topless. And he wanted to encourage her not to do that because he felt it was a sin. And so he asked me about it. I said, I don't know a clear verse that says that that's a sin. And so I went and studied a good chunk of the Bible about that. I think it's still on my blog, All Things Rabyd, where I talk about God and nudity. And I couldn't find a verse that said that nudity was evil. In fact, if I take the creation story and the fall story seriously, actually being naked is a righteous state and being clothed is an unrighteous state. He didn't like that answer. Okay, so I just didn't. Yeah, there we go. Long 11 meetings in the markets, high seats in the chief rooms of the feast. Yes. Yes. Yeah, the real trick with this is to be respectful, even when people aren't being respectful back. I've had people, I think Earl has called that my superpower, where I can get people to calm down and have a discussion when they start off angry. I can't do that with everybody, though. But I try to be respectful of everybody's humanity. Okay, even people I vehemently disagree with, they're still human beings. So it's like, yeah, beware of the scribes, yes, especially the scribes. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's possible that it was a new title, and religions are always coming up with new titles, anyways. Yeah, it honestly bored you. Yeah, I thought you'd like that one. Yeah, but I couldn't, like, I actually made, I think, in my observation in my blog at the time, I said, in fact, every time the Bible refers to female breasts, it's always in a positive light. Like, they're always praised. They're not looked down upon. And you just can't get the idea that nudity is inherently sinful from the Bible. It just doesn't exist. Okay, that's a cultural thing that's been attached to Christianity for a long time. So, yeah, definitely. That's one of the examples I brought up, is like people mocked him for that, and they were the ones that got in trouble. So, you got to cover your head, definitely. But I'm waiting for that cult to develop Phantom, where you have a bunch of women that keep their head covered because it's godly, but the rest of them is just, they don't cover it all. Well, I'm waiting for that one. So, yeah, except when it wasn't. Yes. So, but yeah, I literally could not find a verse that said that this girl shouldn't be topless at a topless beach. I just couldn't do it. So, uh, I don't think their nakedness was the problem. The point is that the result of sin was that they had to go to the fashion industry from God, and God took that place and covered everything up. Okay, the point is, wearing clothes became a consequence of sin, not the other way around. So, uh, they were naked and unashamed about it. It's the shame of nakedness that came, and then they had to cover up. So it's a consequence, okay, of sin. So if Jesus has removed all the consequences of sin, then the most logical thing should be, hey, now we got people that, then there have been a couple times in history this movement called the atomists, where you have basically nudist Christians who came to that conclusion. Like, if Jesus has removed the consequences of sin, then women aren't subjugated to men anymore, and we shouldn't be wearing clothes. So, more minions, Mark. Eh, you know, I I am seriously considering the Merc now that we have enough. We have a lot of artwork, and I think a lot of people would love to have it on stuff. So I am going to seriously look at that, having Merc for the channel. So one, it's another income stream, but two, there's just some funny stuff that we now have. It's just hilarious. Like, can you imagine something like this on a shirt? Like, and you're wandering around with this T-shirt, and then somebody, what the hell is fangs? But yeah, we'll talk about it. I absolutely think like this one too. Like you're definitely right. You're definitely right about this one, the Binky one. Oh my god. So some Armenian stuff is going to definitely come out probably. Yes, they were tricked into sinning, so their eyes were opened up. We're not sinful by nature, so we can just walk around as nature intended. Although I do understand why some conventions about clothing come up. I mean, if you live in the Great White North, you know that there are certain times of the year you should probably be wearing clothes. So, but my view on clothing has gotten very pragmatic. So, you know, you're going to get arrested if you do certain things. And I don't want to get arrested. Oh, what did you mention? You got banned, Fred? Where did you get banned from? What did you do, Fred? I mean, yes, nakedness is a default setting, basically, according to the book. Yeah, I mean, I'll look into it. I definitely look at it. We have enough artwork now, Earl, that I think we could pull something off for Merc. Because we have a lot of stuff that's just straight up hilarious at this point. So, but you know, like I don't know. I'm torn as to what I would buy a shirt for or a mug with something on it. So, yeah, pretty much. That's how we came into the world, pretty much. You don't like to talk about it. What did you do, Fred? Oh, my goodness. Oh, the fact that you got banned does not surprise me, Fred. It doesn't. I just, no. It doesn't surprise me, but I'm curious now. Uh, it's a mass block chief here that says we're whiny. Oh, there you go. Your mom is the default setting. Fred, behave. I don't know, Bob. I'm skeptical of Fred's behavior most of the time. So I do enjoy. Oh dear. Uh-oh. Am I, Earl? Can I picture your face now with red cheeks? Because I think that's kind of, and I said face. Um, oh yes. Oh, are we getting to that point? Fear, be vigilant, and behave. Yes, inquiring minds want to know. I kind of figured. Yeah, it's kind of a crappy way to start life. Smack you on your butt, and snip your foreskin if you're a dude. Yeah, it's kind of a shit way to start. So there's that. Oh man. Oh, holy cow! I can always count on you guys to give me a laugh, which is good. Good stuff. Yeah, I had a really rough start. Um, According to my mother, Earl, I had a kind of a rough start too. constantly colicky. I had a hernia operation when I was 2 months old because I had a bad hernia. Still have the scar. Don't remember a thing, but I still have the scar. So it's interesting, origin stories. Nobody's sniffing your foreskin. Okay, there we go. Fake Jeopardy. I don't know, Fred. Now I am just super curious as to what you do to get banned. See, I'm not banned anywhere. Yeah. Yeah. See, I didn't have that problem. I had the problem of as an infant till about 6 months, I was like, my parents were very worried about me. So I didn't react like other infants do. Now it's probably, a little bit more explainable, but yeah. So it's like, I get it. But yeah, I had like a rough infanthood. I don't remember it, thankfully, but it was kind of rough. So, well, yeah. See, that's the thing. I mean, when my mom describes me as a baby and a toddler now, it's like, oh, hypersensitivity, allergic reaction, hypersensitivity. The stuff I now know that back then parents were just told to do. Um, and now you realize, oh, yeah. So it's now the things you know about yourself and like, oh, that's what happened. Yeah, issues as baby too. It's not like a universal thing with autistic people, but it's like, or hypersensitive people, but it seems to be fairly common when they talk about their childhood. You're allergic to your mother and still are. Okay. Yeah, I think the only thing weird about my vacation was mom wasn't with us. She was the only one in the family because she can't travel. Um, so, you okay? Late too. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. No, I was right on time. I was born when I was supposed to be. Could you do? I'm publishing the pictures. The whole thing. Oh, what have you done, Fred? What have you done? Oh, your wife is allergic to you? Say on collagen. So she kisses you often. Okay. Called a squeaker? Okay. Being normal and shit. Yes. Oh. Uh, oh, okay, okay. So, see, I'm eventually going to investigate and find out the whole true story. So there we go. There we go. But yeah, is it as Fred? Is it as bad as this picture? Is there so much to digest? Your skin is allergic to itself. God, that's gotta be awful being allergic to yourself. Ugh. Ugh. I couldn't do it. It was Fang's fault. Now that, Fred, is the first sensible thing you have said this entire conversation. The trickster god himself was involved does not surprise me. But I am also thinking because it's you, Fred, that it didn't take a lot of encouragement. Like Fangs didn't have to like talk too hard or convince you of anything. He just kind of whispered in your ear and away you went. So Andrew Joel, you messed it up for all women. All right. But yeah, I honestly, Fred, I can absolutely see this. I can see how it was Bangs' fault, and he probably takes credit. You know, it's like, yeah, I was responsible for that. Behold my handiwork. Behold the marvelous works of Fangs. Aren't they glorious? As Fangs, I thought you told your stories to Fangs. Kind of like oh my gosh. Yeah, probably. But yeah, I mean, the fact that a trickster god is behind all of this wouldn't surprise me a little bit in the slightest. So, oh my gosh. Yeah. Trump from Oregon. I'm not sure it would help. Too much collateral damage on that one. Unless you can contain it to Washington, D.C. and government buildings only. So, Fangs. Yeah. Somebody misspelled Fangs. Is that a cardinal sin? Where you require repentance to misspell the name of Fangs? Acquiring wants to know. You don't cuddle for a multitude of reasons. There you go. No toe jammies? Oh. Um, is it possible to sell your soul to Fangs? What would he want for it? What would he do with it? I don't know. You could probably buy it back for a couple carrots. I mean, I don't think the negotiations would be harsh. I mean, we're not talking anything permanent here. Um, like, I mean, and you really don't have to sell your soul. Just circumcise a couple of carrots and hand it to him, and he'll be fine. So, yeah, I don't know if selling your souls to Fangs would be blasphemy. It's quite possible that it is blasphemous because Fangs is not that hard to please. He's just very very happy go lucky. I mean, if you want to bring him in on some shenanigans, he's probably more down with that than you selling their soul to him. So just you can rent. Yeah, see, you could rent your soul to Fangs. Like he would accept rent. Like he would allow you to not offer up a sacrifice of vegetables and carrots for a while. But I'm not sure he would put a lot of value on the human soul. So because I'm not really sure the human soul even exists, and he would probably come to that conclusion as well. Like somebody's soul is like intangible, can't touch it, taste it, feel it. There's no evidence for its existence. So, but carrots, give him a couple of circumcised carrots and you're good. So, he would just go ahead and take your soul, and I only known him for 5. Fangs is a wonderful fertility trickster rabbit. So there's that. 3 hail boops. There we go. Wheat sari, 3 sniff carrots. And there we go. Yeah, I mean, he might sell it. Like he's like, I don't know what value you can get out of this Yahweh, but it's not very valuable to me. I don't know. Is the devil still in the business of buying souls? I'm not sure. I seem to remember him like, that sort of thing. Rutabaga, I'm sure he would accept that. Yes, I remember it. Oh, so you have a cat that steals souls, just straight up steals them. So you have to do pats and kisses to protect yourself. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Is the devil a soul brother as well? I don't know. See, I don't know. See, the thing about Satan is I don't. Yeah, I look at his character in the Bible and I'm like, I'm not sure he's all that bad. Okay, I mean, it's not. I mean, his body count is a lot less than God's. I mean, Yahweh's is in the millions. I think he can lay like 100, maybe at the most, people at the feet of the devil. But he seems to be far more restrained about that. So he's a funk soul brother. Rutabaga, a very strange word. Yes, it is. Rutaplantia. Yeah. Uh, Satan grows some wicked weed. So if we have another reason to like him, I mean, I'll take your word for it. You are the cranky elder god, after all. The only one with a body count is. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's probably true. I don't know. There, I mean, Solomon had a pretty high body count. David didn't do too bad either. Brewery. Oh, Wicked Weed. That's a great name for a brewery, though. Meat substitute substance is not the greatest. Oh, yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, Satan's got about, okay, he's killed 10 and God's up in the millions. All right. Yeah, I thought the count was something like that. I mean, God, one time at least killed everybody that lived except for 8 people, supposedly. So that's pretty high. Pretty high. Cucumber beer. That's fascinating to me. See, because if you do cucumber beverages right, they do taste really good. It's just hard for them to be done right. So now I'm intrigued. I've got to one of these days. I got to save up enough vacation time to do a 2-weeker and do a little traveling on my own, just to get out of the. I don't know. At the same time, I feel very safe here. You'll have drinks that come with snacks. There you go. Can be a slight different taste. It tastes similar but different. Cucumber cider. Oh, see, this is the funny thing about the internet. I learned so much about stuff. Cucumber cider. I can see that. I'm one of the few people that'll try a cucumber drink, especially if it's cold. Like, it's got to be cold, though. Savory melon. I don't know about that. You're a sparkling water person, berry cucumber sparkling water. Yeah, I remember that. I think I had tried some of that. I thought it was pretty good too. But I look for stuff that has cucumber in it, so that's kind of interesting. Yeah. Nom 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 nom. Yes. See, cucumber beer just strikes me as very interesting. See, I'm always looking like I am very, very picky about the beer I drink because most of it to me tastes like shit. Okay. But there are a few notable exceptions that have gotten through. Like there's this Oktoberfest beer that I tried once that did not taste like beer hardly at all. Like I could tell it was beer, but it tasted so good. And then I had a few others over the years that it's it's just hard for me to find a good beer that I'll drink. I'm kind of a snob in that particular way. So yeah, it does make a good drink flavoring, I think. Much nibblery. Called the cucumber wall there. All right, there we go. Do we have a burning question in the end? Somebody asked about hell, heaven and hell, what I thought about them when I was a believer. So that's a burning question. Most of the time, you guys make the joke about if it's burning, go see a doctor. So, should I go see a doctor? Oh, okay, cool. See, I can get into that. I'm very picky about beer, so very picky. Yeah, we can always light your questions on fire too, Fred. Okay, whatever. No pun intended. Okay, that's just cowardly, Fred. Always intend your puns. Just don't be a chicken. If you're going to do puns, just intend them. Yeah, I was going to say, intend your puns, coward. Don't do it. Make sure they're intended. I always love that. No pun intended. I'm like, no, intend your puns. Be brave. So, like questions on fire. I still think that's probably the best way to do questions, but yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, Earl, with beer. I find that some of the best ones are seasonal. Like they harvest whatever they're harvesting to make the beer, and then they make it, and they can't make it year round, so it only comes out at certain times. So I I think that's usually the best beverages I find, which is kind of sad because you'd like to have them year round, but at the same time, I've found that when I find good adult beverages that are seasonal, I look forward to that season. So, and most of the time it's fall. So there's a bunch of people around here that do hard cider with all the apple orchards in Michigan. So, and there's a lot of good hard ciders out there. So, no pun intended. Oh boy. You're cute too. I don't know about that. You're innocent. I don't buy that at all. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll try it. I mean, yeah, I also find that like if I find something that's off season, like I normally see it during a season, but it's not at that time of year, like stuff that's for the winter that you find in the summer, I've often found that that's pretty good. I like the pucker. Yeah, okay. Stops that make you sleepy. Okay, well, see, the thing about it is, I don't know. We don't have a Fangs official beverage yet, and I'm not sure what that would be. Is there a hard carrot juice? Like, is it possible to even make carrots into alcoholic beverages? Inquiring minds want to know. Like, not add something to them, but does carrots have enough stuff to make it into alcohol? That's my question. Mm. Because we could make something an official beverage. So there's that. Bang tang. Okay. All right. All right. All right. I see. So you could make carrots into alcohol. Oh, now I'm curious. I've got to know. There's a lot of talk about putting carrot juice and stuff in alcohol, but not whether or not you could make alcohol out of carrots itself. Hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of drinks that have carrot juice in them. I'm looking for an actual carrot alcohol. Oh, yep, there is. It's kind of like a vodka, but it's not quite the same. So, yeah, you know how this happens to me, Earl. I get on a topic and I'll be researching this for another half hour after I get off the stream. So, yes. Oh, like 100% carrot grown by local using to produce one of these bottles. Oh, shit. See, because there's a lot of sugar in carrots, and I'm holy damn. Um, okay. Yeah, the one I'm reading says they were trying not to make it into another vodka. And so, like, they wanted it to be its own thing. There's a parsnip gin, too. Outstanding. See, now, oh man, carrot brewing. But it takes like 50 pounds of carrots to just make one bottle. Holy damn. It's just a lot of carrots. A lot of carrots. By Hebrew, the chosen beer. It's actually pretty good. Sold helmet. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Things I learned in Ed's chat. Yes, see, we're educational here, Fred. You not only can learn about fangs, you can learn about carrot alcohol. There is such a thing. So, carrot wine is a type of wine made from carrots, the root vegetable rich in vitamins and minerals. It's made through a fermentation process similar to the fruit or vegetable wines. Seriously? Yeah, we're smart here. Just saying. This is chemistry. Come on, man. We're doing chemistry here. Um, okay. See, because I can see a branded carrot wine because you gave it the name Fangs Tang. Oh my gosh, that's perfect. I mean, I've seen I've seen many names like that, but yeah, like a carrot wine. Man, I'm just saying, because we have a rabbit as the mascot deity of the channel. So I a carrot wine. So was Walter White. Yeah, I'm just saying. See, I'm trying to make this cult make money for me. This is the one aspect of the cult that's missing. I mean, we're not doing this right if we're not making cash off of it. Yeah, I get it though, but it's like you can dilute it down to make a wine, can you? I mean, you may or may not know a lot of people who do home brewing legally and otherwise, right? So, yeah, I got to have Merc. I think Earl and everybody else is kind of pushing that direction. I'll have to look up a company that can do Merc for us. But yeah, because we just have so much good stuff now. Like, I mean, I can see like something like this on a shirt or a cup. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm I'm just saying because the thing with Fangs is I think I can get him to be like Dudism and Pastafarianism and Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe. I mean, you could literally make this into a religion. And if we're not making money off the religion, what are we doing? I mean, that's the whole point of a religion. Ultimately, is get people to give you money. So, all right, all right, all right. See, I'm thinking a carrot wine or something like some sort of alcoholic drink with Fangs' pretty face on it. Um, I mean, yeah. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff we could do here, right? I got to give it some thought, though. Definitely got to give it some thought. But yeah. See, I would buy a shirt with this on it right here. Um, and people would ask me, what is that? What is that about? And I could explain it. Or this one, or this one. I mean, we'll throw ASO stuff in there too. This one. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff we could do. Okay, Fred, if you're believing anything Fang says you got to remember he's a trickster god. He's trying to trick you. So, yeah, I think that's the thing. I have actually seen some murk from YouTubers in public on a couple of occasions, and it's always struck up a conversation every time. Like it's murk that's popular enough where people recognize it, but rare enough where people, you know, kind of, oh, I know where you got that from, kind of thing. So I'll see what I can do. Things would, yes, it would. I mean, we have so much stuff. Like Earl's been busy. Um, like, I mean, I could see something like this one on a shirt. Like, good question. Actually, Evan, that's a possibility. I guess I would have to know what the Merc store is willing to produce. That's kind of my question because we got into the whole Mormon underwear discussion the other day, and I'm thinking, I think we can do better Fangs lingerie than that. Like something that will actually excite people to actually do the boinking. But the Mormon one, I was like, nobody wants to boink in that. So killed Earl creatively, LLC. Really? All right, there we go. See, I don't know. I've got to that point where I'm successful enough as a channel where I'm thinking about this stuff, the legalities of it. Because before it's just you're just a YouTuber sounding off. But I think if I want to make this more professional, I got to head into a different direction. Although professional, I put in quotes because I hate being professional sometimes. So allegedly, there we go. Yeah. As your lawyer. Okay, there we go. Yes. Lawyers, things like that. You never betrayed. Australians are the land of the lawless. Okay, there we go. Yeah. There you go. See, allegedly. At ikillearl.com. There you go. See, Earl is always doing things allegedly. Allegedly. Key word. Yeah, well, I'm just saying. I don't know. I mean, Fangs is a cute rabbit. You know, where do you want to put a cute rabbit? I mean, where do you want to do that? And he's cute. He's cuter than the Playboy Bunny. So, I mean, I can see it. You know, I mean, it's the old line from Who Framed Roger Rabbit is that a rabbit in your pocket or are you happy to see me? Oh, there you go. Oh, man. Oh, it's been good to be back. Good night, folks. But I got to run, unfortunately, because I'm running up against the clock of going to work. So I'm back to work. Not a fan. So, yes, I know this. This is what I'm saying. like Fangs' little face on that. I just see the thing with a lot of merch stores is you put your stuff up there and then they tell you what they can put it on. And then as somebody who orders it, you order it with what you want it to be on. And that can be an option. So but I'm good to be back. But I have to run, folks. I do have to get ready for work. My car is in the process of being repaired from the deer incident, but I've got to go probably a little bit earlier. So we'll see what happens. But I do want to thanks everybody for stopping by tonight. Appreciate all of you. May Fangs nibble on your hearts and do all the things that you do. Make sure you are sacrificing the proper amount of carrots and things like that. So make sure you consensually nibble on the like button, and the like button is very consensual. Thank you very much. But I am back. I will see all of you Thursday on Deconversion Hangout. So make sure that you put that down. I will have that up probably tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. But thanks, everybody. May Fangs bless you, and may your teeth ever be pointy. And may your vegetables always be cleansed of religious corruption. And as always, thanks for stopping by, everybody. Live your best life. You only get one go around, and then it's over. So you want to make sure you take all your time, your money, and opportunities, and give them to yourself, the people you love and care for, and to make this a better world. You'll be happier if you do. I speak from experience, and don't waste your time on the trappings of religion and faith, because that's a dead end. I also speak from experience on that one. And thanks, everybody, for stopping by. I will catch you all next time on Thursday for Deconversion Hangout.